Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we're talking about basically acts on saving in Canada, right? I mean, everybody, wants to save, right? We all want to look for means of reducing money that is coming out of our pocket for some of these necessities. And I call them necessities because they are actually things that you have to pay for. You cannot do without some of them, right? But ultimately we are not working to just be paying out all the money that we are making now. We also have to do things for ourselves, and the only way we can do that is by having savings, right? Having money that we can spend for other things that we want to do. So pretty much, what are those acts that we can use, or things that we can practice in terms of saving in Canada? And number one I have on my list here, you need to create a budget. Yes. And what is more important than creating a budget is actually sticking with it. Now, why is creating a budget important? Now, creating a budget is important because when you have a budget, it gives you, this holistic view of what your income is versus your expenditure, right? So, have a budget. How much am I paying for rent or mortgage in a month? What is the amount I'm paying out on groceries? How much are we spending in terms of feeding, right? So just make your list. There are some vital things that definitely have to be on your budget, like mortgage, utilities, if you have kids that are going to daycare, and other costs like your house insurance, your car insurance, your property tax, if you pay on a monthly basis. So generally work out your budget. Also have by the side your income, and then you can net it out, and that gives you the holistic view of what your position financially. It helps you know how much is going out. Do I need to reduce a cost? Can I undertake more projects at this time? Do I have funds that I can use for things like that? Or how much can go into savings in a month? That's one of the things that you actually need to work towards. 2 is meal planning and cooking at home. Food is one of the things that used to carry our money away in this Canada. And it's true. And one of those ways is when you eat out. When you eat out often, you spend even much more than you will if you cook at home. We know African meal or African food is expensive, but again, it is better for you to buy and then cook, at home. It's not like that food that you've cooked this weekend, you're only going to eat it this weekend. Of course, it doesn't work that way, right? Because one of the ways that I'm just thinking about is if you want to go out as a family. Now, even if it's just you and your spouse and you guys are eating out, budget nothing less than $100, and that is you being very conservative when you're eating out. Like, you're not having 3-course meal, you're just having maybe just one meal, just the main dish, finish. You cannot spend nothing less than $100. Imagine when you're now trying to have 3-course meal, you have dessert, you have this, you have that. So if you do that very often, you are going to be spending so much on food, and that's not one of the best ways. But of course, if you can afford it, by all means, why not? Now, number 3 I have here on my list is cutting down on impulse purchases. Impulse, yes, purchases that is not planned for, or that you have not planned for. And in Canada here, it's very easy. It's very easy to engage in impulse buying because they're always doing sales. Be it winter season, springtime, summer, or autumn, they are always doing one saving. Or as you are finishing one season like this, they've already started telling you about the sales for the next season. So everywhere you are going to, left, right, and center, there is always this 20% off, 10% off, 5% off, buy 2 get 1 free. And then again, as humans, we start to think, let me buy. Of course, you can do those things, but don't let it be like the norm, right? Let it be as few as possible. Even sometimes you go to the store, you have your list, something that you've not planned for, you just go to the store, they will just tell you, okay, buy something worth $300 and get this thing free, and then you now start to pick, I must meet up to this $300 because you want to collect free item from the store. So they have ways of coming up with all these things that will want to catch your eyes, but of course, I remember that at the end of the day, is your pocket, it's telling on your pocket, right? So cut down on impulse buying. Another way that can help you with saving in Canada is to bundle services and negotiate bills. And how do I mean? So with this one, say for example, a lot of all these service providers, they have a kind of arrangement where they will give you a mobile phone and then they lump it, with the service in terms of the internet, and then they would say, okay, we'll give you iPhone 14 Pro Max or iPhone 15 Pro Max with 70 gig of data or whatever, and then you're going to be paying $80. That's a lot better than going to Apple by itself, to say, I want to collect a mobile phone, and then if Apple puts you on a payment plan, you're going to be having a monthly cost dedicated to that mobile you're going to be paying. Then you're also going to need to take, a plan from a service provider. So let's say, for example, you're now having a service of maybe $30 or $40 versus if your payment plan for the phone is like $70. That's already over $100 and something. Meanwhile, you can get the same iPhone 14 from, this service provider with the internet or with the service, and you're paying something lower. That's one of the ways. By that, if you do that, then you're probably saving more than somebody who is having the services provided differently. And another way is, so if you are using a particular service provider, most of them would offer some other services that you would need. So the person that you have gotten your phone from and you're using the person for your phone internet or your phone service, you can also use them for your home internet, and also for security in terms of if they have like security camera package. If you want to have one on your property, you can bundle all of these services together, and by that negotiate with the service provider. Like, I see now, I collected from you people, I'm doing my phone service through you, my home internet is through you guys, my security, of course you have to give me some sort of discount, right? So it's a lot cheaper that way than getting all of these services from different service provider where there's no leverage to negotiate. You just have to pay how much it is that they are telling you to pay. Now, the next one I have on my list is reduce energy consumption. Yes. And this is very important because, again, it's not like NEPA, where they'll just bring you... It actually looks more like a postpaid kind of service. When NEPA will bring you, what's that thing called, or what they call it now? They just bring you bill at the end of the month before we started using the prepaid meter, right, in Nigeria. So this one, they will just bring you bill at the end of the month. Okay, this is what your bill is. They will highlight all the things for you: water, energy, this one, that one. Your bill is $200 in a month, or your bill is $250 in a month, or so one of the ways that you can save money is in terms of energy consumption. So if take active steps to like turn off the lights when you're not there, things that are just not in use at that point. Don't just leave the electricity and it's just running, or you turn on your heater and it's just running when you're not even there. All those things, they pile up very quickly, and you just see that last month I paid $200 for utility, this month I'm paying $500. That's so, because I remember the experience of someone here, and the person had recently moved into the house. The house had a basement, and the basement had its own heater. There was nobody in the basement, but I think at some point somebody had gone there and they turned on the heater and they left it on. But people were living upstairs now. Nobody thought to go because nobody lives in the basement. Nobody thought to go there to check or anything. When they would bring the electricity bill at the end of the month, last month, let's say these guys paid $150. This month, when they brought the bill, they were paying $500. $500. So that's the implication in terms of just leaving your heater on. And heater is like iron, right? Have you tried to plug your iron into the electricity? You will see the change in current, because those things, they take active electricity, right? So reduce energy consumption, turn off the lights when you're not, whatever it is that you're not using at that point in time, just turn it off so that your bill is not just accumulating, right? So furthermore, optimizing transportation costs. Yes. And how do I mean? So for this one, depending on your location, right? If you are able to commute to work using the train or the bus service, or even if you're able to bike, there are a lot of people that bike here. Sometimes you don't even, you see your oga at the office, and in the office, yes, there are ogas. Maybe you guys have closed during the day and you're walking down the elevator. Your oga will just branch to the side and they are unbuckling their keke from, or their bike, right? Their bike from where, they buckled it for safety. And you're wondering, and there are even so many. So a lot of people use transit system here. If your location is close to a transit system, there's really no use for you to be commuting all the way from your home to the office with your vehicle, with your car. Because you think about how much you're going to be spending on fuel in a month or in a week. Those things pile up very quickly. But if you have like an arrangement where if a train station is close by or a bus service is close by, you can park your vehicle there and take the train. Maybe you're working you're working downtown, take the train or take the bus, right? Or if your house is not very far, use your bike. Those are ways of saving, basically. And very quickly, if you're able to do some of these things, you will see how your cost will be. Okay, maybe before I was spending $200 on fuel in a month. Now that I'm doing this, I've been able to cut it by half, and then you can use your fuel to maybe when you want to do a road trip or something, of course. Yeah, so that's another way. Now, another way to save up here in Canada is to review your subscriptions and membership. A lot of us, we've registered for this thing, that one. You've registered for Netflix, Prime, Gym, so many kinds of subscriptions, right? So review it and then see if it's not something that you use often, or just think about it. This thing, is this something I can do without? How am I using it? Am I even using it, right? So think about it. What kind of exercise am I doing? Does it pay me to buy this machine? Or how many when I go to the gym, how many of those equipments do I use? Maybe I use just this one or two. Should I buy this and put it in my house so that I don't have to make this monthly payment to the gym? Or I mostly watch Netflix. I hardly do Prime. Why do I have a subscription and the Prime is taking this money from my account every month? Or I mostly do, or do I really mind that there's adverts in Netflix subscription rather than going for the one that doesn't have adverts? The advert is just like 30 seconds. Do I really mind? Just look at it and then try to cut out the ones that are not necessary, where maybe you are just making money for them for fun. Try to cut those ones out and focus on the ones that you are actively using, because the truth is, in this Canada, you need all the extra money that you can get. And funny enough, somebody said something one time. I was having a conversation with somebody recently, and somebody said, that in Nigeria, sometimes you can go to work and maybe you don't even have any money in your account, and before you come back, somebody will just dash you money at work or something. That doesn't really happen here. It doesn't really happen here in Canada. Like, everything that you're thinking about is, okay, how much am I making though? All the costs are coming out of how much you're making. But of course, that's not to say that somebody cannot just gift you. Those things happen, but the frequency is not just, the way it happens back in Nigeria. So you really want to cut down on everything that you can and save as much as you can, because at the end of the day, what you can do largely depends on the savings that you have. Every other thing will take their own portion: mortgage, transport, fuel, utility, food, daycare, property tax, insurance. Everything will take their own portion. At the end of the day, what are you paying your own self? How much are you saving? Because that would determine what you can effectively. You want to enjoy your life, you want to go to this place, you want to go to that place. Yes, it's only your savings you can use or you take out money from your savings to do those things. So it's very important to really cut down on the cost and make sure that you're having sufficient amount at least to save in a month, right? And the last that I have on my list here is, yes, to practice mindful spending and prioritize savings. It's important. We cannot overflog it. So what we would normally advise people is have a separate account where you save. When the money comes out, when they pay you in a month, you've deducted all the deductibles, everything that needs to be deducted. Mark a certain portion where you're going to move into another account. Now there are various ways that you can save up, or you can, so that you're not just saving this money or just putting into a particular account. We have high interest savings account. You can try a TFSA, which is a tax free savings account. And the good thing about the TFSA is you can even withdraw out of that one at any time, right? Not necessarily, you don't have to wait till maturity or whatever. You can withdraw, but at least every day, depending on the investment vehicle in that TFSA, which I like to look at it like a mutual fund. If you're familiar with maybe the mutual fund in Nigeria, or the money market fund, actually, because there are various types of mutual funds, right? But the money market fund specifically, you can withdraw out of it at any time. It's almost like a savings account. The only difference is that you're making interest on it on a daily basis, right? And so you can use a TFSA as that savings vehicle, or depending on whatever it is. At the end of the day, be mindful about if you don't need this thing, then don't buy it. Maybe before, if you want to engage in an impulsive buying, just maybe online you're just checking and then you see this, these people are running sales or something. Put it in your cart and then go and sleep over it and think about and wake up the next day. Then you really wonder, do I really need to buy this thing or not? So a lot of times you just realize that, I probably even have so many of these things that I've not even used, and I'm just I keep buying. Why, right? So pretty much that's what we thought that we're going to share with you today. Savings in Canada is very important, and we have come to the end of the video. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. All right, thank you very much, and see you again in our next video. Bye bye.